Right now, the day's biggest news stories from a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
What up, Vegas? It is Thursday, and it is Vegas Take Time. Sharp and Shapiro, glad you could join us. Oh, boy, do we have a lot to get to today. Breaking news within the last hour in regards to this whistleblower complaint. We got Maguire right now, who's testifying, the intel chief. More information. The whistleblower complaint has been released. It is fascinating. We're going to talk all about that, and we're going to get to it. And, of course, we're going to take your calls. We have a feud on Fox News between Tucker Carlson and Shepard Smith. We'll explain coming up in hour number 2. Also, this is going to be a lot of fun. We like to mix things here around back and forth a little bit. Have you heard of this nice young lady before? This wholesome young lady. Alice Little is her name. She works at one of the brothels here. She's very, very popular. And apparently she had some customers over at the Area 51, Storm Area 51. We'll be talking to her. Boy, there's a lot to get to with her coming up in hour number 2. Hour number 3, it is Thursday. That means Mike Babcock from TMZ Sports will be joining us. An interesting story, too, that came out about a local Italian restaurant. Repeat offender of dirty dining. We'll explain coming up in hour number 3, coming up here in just a little bit. But, we spoke a lot yesterday about this whistleblower complaint that was, by the way, not released yet. And we've been talking about it this week. And it has been my opinion, and I stand by my opinion on this, that I think this will be Donald Trump's demise. I'm not sure he makes it to 2020 based on all the information and all the evidence that has been put forth. And today is no different. And we've learned a little bit more information in regards to this whistleblower complaint that was released. The complaint cites multiple White House officials with direct knowledge of the call, accusing Trump of attempting to pressure the Ukrainian leader to take actions to help the president in the 2020 re-election bid. It then presents allegations that the White House tried to restrict access to records of the call. That's right, a White House cover-up. The complaint goes on to allege that the White House officials said they were directed by White House attorneys to remove the transcript of the call from the computer system where they are normally kept. Instead, the transcript was allegedly kept on a different system normally used for classified information. Intel Chief Maguire is defending the handling of the Trump call complaint, calls the issue unprecedented. Maguire defended himself as not partisan and not political, reminding House Intelligence Committee members that he served under 8 presidents and has taken the oath of the office 11 times. He said, "I have served and led through turbulent times. My integrity has never been questioned until now." He also said, "I believe that I handled this matter in full compliance with the law at all times." Others are weighing in on this whole situation, and we're going to get to it. We're going to talk about Nancy Pelosi's comments. We're going to talk about Rudy Giuliani's response to this whistleblower complaint that has been made public. But if you listen to the right, whether it be right-wing radio or you listen to some of the opinionated shows on Fox News, they want to go after the Bidens. They want to go after Joe Biden. They want to go after his son. When there's no there when it comes to the Bidens. But let me just make this very clear, because this is where that argument goes nowhere. This is where the right-wing agenda of that argument of attacking the Bidens. Well, what about the Bidens? What about, Biden's son getting $50,000 a month? What about him being a millionaire? This is where that argument goes nowhere. Let me be very clear on this, and I'm going to be as extreme as I can. If Hunter Biden was a serial killer, if Hunter Biden went to the Ukraine and killed 500 people, it still would not make this right. If Hunter Biden stole $50 million from the Ukrainian president, then came back to this country, it would not change what the president did. It is clear, cut, and simple. The president withheld money 2 days before this phone call, aid to the Ukrainians. He asked the Ukrainian president for, quote unquote, a favor. It is in the transcript, make no mistake about it. And also in the transcript, he talks about Biden and he wants an investigation reopened. And then, amazing that a few days after that, the money is released to the Ukrainians. Folks, this isn't brain surgery. This isn't, open to interpretation. It's obvious. The president asked a foreign entity for help in his 2020 election, dirt on Joe Biden, who just so happens to be the man who's most likely going to be facing Donald Trump in the 2020 elections. The paper trail is there. The money trail is there. Stop talking about the Bidens. Even if the Bidens, by the way, there's no proof, but even if the Bidens did steal money from the Ukrainians, even if there was a dirty deal, even if it is suspect, it doesn't change the fact of what Donald Trump said to the president. It doesn't change anything. So that argument makes zero sense. Zero. And what I don't understand about this whole thing is it is so cut and dry, right? It is so simple. The transcript says it all. You can't ask another foreign entity, or in this case, another president, for dirt on a political opponent. You can't withhold money, even if it's not said right there in the transcript, hey, I'm going to hold $300 million unless you do blah, blah, blah. Actions speak louder than words. He withheld the money 2 days before the phone call, and then it's a miracle. A couple days after the phone call, money was released. By the way, our tax dollars. Thought I might throw that in there. Rudy Giuliani is telling CNN today that he had no knowledge of any type of cover-up, no knowledge of any of that crap is actually the words he used. Wonder how many drinks he had this morning, by the way. Because according to Michael Avenatti yesterday, he's drunk on the set of many of these interviews. And if you listen to some of these interviews, it certainly adds up and it makes a lot of sense that Rudy Giuliani has a drinking problem, or he's developed one over the years. Giuliani also refuted claims, including in the complaint that 2 State Department officials had spoken to him to contain the damage he was doing. He said at no time did either one of them say they wanted to contain damage, because Giuliani is so credible. He'll lie on CNN, he'll say he did something, and then he'll say he didn't do something within 25 seconds. He said, I spoke to the State Department during the course of this situation. I told you at least 10 times, and I met with them, Giuliani said. Pelosi on the whistleblower complaint, what does she have to say about all this? She's calling it a cover-up. She said the complaint states that the White House tried to lock down all records of the call, especially the word-for-word transcript, that gave the whistleblower reason to believe that they, the White House, understood the gravity of the transpired in that call. The complaint reports a, quote, repeated abuse of an electronics record system designed to store classified, sensitive national security information, which the White House used to hide information of a political nature. Pelosi went on to say, this is a cover-up. She said it again, this is a cover-up. Why would the White House go to the extremes to try to hide this information? Why? It's the same reason why Donald Trump refuses to show his tax returns, because he has something to hide, because they had something to hide. And if you don't think that this whistleblower complaint is enough, if you don't think the transcript is enough, you're going to get more, because apparently there are several others that are going to testify, not just the whistleblower, him or herself. There are others that are going to testify as well. So it doesn't end here. I said it a few days ago. I never said this, as far as the Mueller report goes, as far as, meddling in the elections and all that sort of stuff. I never said that would be Donald Trump's demise, because I really didn't know how it was going to play out, and it's very difficult to prove what they were trying to prove, at least, the Democrat side of things, and what the Mueller report, what that was trying to prove. So the Mueller report itself was not enough, and it was very difficult to prove. And like I said, I never said, as far as that report goes, as far as Russian interference, I never said that was going to be the president's demise. But I said it on Monday. I said it last week, and I'll say it again. I personally believe that this whistleblower complaint and this situation with the Ukrainians is going to be Donald Trump's demise. I do think he's going to be impeached. I don't think he's going to last to 2020. I have never said that before. I am saying it right now. I believe the president of the United States, Donald Trump, is going to be impeached, and he screwed up big time here, and he got caught. We'll take your phone calls. What do you think about this? We have a couple phone lines open. The number is 257-5396 if you want to be a part of the conversation. Again, that number 702-257-5396. Let's start with Carl today. Why don't we do that? Carl, how's it going, my friend? Thanks for calling in.
Brian, JD, how you doing? Is
Good.
JD there? No?
Oh, yeah, I'm here, Carl. What's up? Brian was just on a 15-minute tangent, so I didn't want to interrupt that beautiful...
Okay, that excites me.
I wouldn't call it a tangent. I would say it was a monologue.
Listen, real quick, I didn't get in the other day. You were talking about Giuliani
Yes.
losing his marbles. Well, I just want to inform you, those are twice lost marbles because he got the ones from Trump that he lost.
That's true.
So they've been twice lost. Anyway, about the money and so forth, they're talking about Biden taking money from whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How much money has Trump taken, not just from the public before he became president, but while he's been president? How much has he stolen from the government in the different emoluments that are absolutely ridiculous? He's made a fortune. I hear people say, well, he gives his salary back. He makes 10 times that from what he steals than his salary.
Well, I think
what does that mean?
I understand what you're saying, Carl. I don't want to get in the weeds of how much money, but I will say this. I will say this, Carl. It has been investigated. There is no there when it comes to Biden or his son. It was investigated by the Ukrainians. There is no guilt. There is nothing there. And if Republicans, and by the way, thank you for the call, Carl, we appreciate it. If Republicans want to attack Biden, if Republicans want to attack his son, and even if the Bidens were 150% guilty, it still doesn't make it right. That is not a defense for, well, Trump had a right to ask about that. No, it's not. It still doesn't make it right. So that argument makes zero sense. 257-5396 is the number to call in. Let's go to Brady. Brady, you're next.
Yeah, good morning, gentlemen. I was wondering if you guys had a chance to read the transcript that was released yesterday of the phone conversation.
I did go over highlights of that yesterday. I did it for an hour and a half.
So why are we even caring about what this whistleblower hearsay? This is from hearsay, like secondhand information. When Trump released the whole transcript,
no,
it's a bunch of hoo-ha.
Brian is trying to turn it into a giant Watergate-esque cover-up by the Republican Party.
Okay, first of all,
the funny thing is, let me say one thing. What I did read in there that they're not mentioning, what was great that I want to look into in Ukraine, is where the hell is the DNC server and why is it supposedly in Ukraine?
First of all, let me start.
In Ukraine, Brian.
I'll tell you a lot of things, and I'll be glad to educate you, Brady, if you're willing to listen. First of all, I'm not turning this into anything. Literally half the people that were on Fox News yesterday, and I'm talking about not just Judge Napolitano. I'm talking about people that have been in the legal system for years that were guests on right-wing Fox News, said that this is a serious issue, this is a serious complaint, whether it was firsthand knowledge or not. Apparently, in this complaint, there are multiple White House officials with direct knowledge of this call that are going to testify.
Knowledge again.
Okay, why don't you listen to what I say? See, the problem, Brady, is you don't want to listen.
Handle that there was an official
Did you hear what I just said?
Are you blind?
Actually, I think you're deaf. So why don't you listen to what I said? This doesn't do with seeing. It has to do with listening. So I'm going to read this one more time, just so you can listen, so your right-wing big ears can listen. Multiple White House officials with direct knowledge of the call are going to be testifying. What do you not understand about the word direct knowledge? Do you not understand what that word means? Did you not go to high school? What did you get on your SATs? Do you understand what the word direct knowledge means?
Yeah, what do you mean direct deep state knowledge? Because they're goddamn spies that were left over by Obama.
All right. Why don't you go back to Area 51, you conspiracy theorist moron. Go back to really, seriously. The aliens are coming to probe you, Brady. And you can blame Obama for that, since you blame Democrats for everything. I'm trying to explain to you people what this means. I'm trying to explain to you that just because the whistleblower doesn't have, quote-unquote, firsthand knowledge doesn't mean that there aren't people with firsthand knowledge. And there are. And they're going to testify. And that complaint cites multiple White House officials with direct knowledge. What do some of you people not understand about that? It's pretty clear-cut. We also read the transcript. What did we learn in that transcript? We learned that the president asked for a favor. This was 2 days before he withheld money to the Ukrainians. He asked for a favor. And then, after asking for dirt on Joe Biden and his son, after it's already been investigated, 48 hours later, the money is released. Well, you want to talk about firsthand knowledge? We have the transcript. That's what it shows. This is not a nothing burger like some right-wing nut jobs are trying to say. This is not a nothing burger. And this will be the end of Donald Trump, in my personal opinion. Hey, I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. 2575.
Okay, and if it's the end of Donald Trump, then you're predicting that the Democrats win the 2020 election and Joe Biden is the next president of the United States?
I'm not predicting who's going to be the next president of the United States, because I don't know the answer to that.
But it will be a Democrat.
I believe so, yes.
You believe a Democrat, Elizabeth Warren, Joe Biden,
I believe
Kamala Harris.
I don't know who that's going to be.
After Donald Trump's impeached in the next year, will walk into, because the Republicans will have zero chance at that point, but they will walk into a victory in 2020?
I don't know who the president is going to be, but I certainly think if Donald Trump is not the president in 2020, this will be the reason why.
When do you think that he will be impeached?
I think this is going to take a while.
What does that mean? 8 to 10 months, a year?
Don't know exactly, but
because the election's in 14 months.
I don't know exactly, but the issue at heart here, based in this whistleblower complaint, which is very important. I don't know if you read it, but when it says multiple White House officials have direct knowledge of this, and it appears as though they're going to be subpoenaed and going to have to testify, there's going to be a big investigation, and it's going to take a while. As you know, they did not impeach Bill Clinton overnight. It took a little while.
Yeah, what White House officials, as in Trump's cabinet,
Yes. Yes.
Trump's cabinet has been a revolving door for a long time. So
Well, that doesn't matter.
I highly doubt that
doesn't matter.
either of them will roll on Donald Trump, so to speak, or play the rat role. But we'll see. We'll see what takes place.
It's not about rolling for Donald Trump, and there are people in the White House that doesn't necessarily mean that they're on Donald Trump's side. If they have to tell the truth, they will tell the truth, and I do believe in the end that will happen. 257-5396. Let's go to Terry. Terry, what's going on?
What's up, Terry?
Well, good morning. I am calling I'm not quite sure about the investigation into the Bidens. You said it's been concluded. Where can I get a copy of that to read?
You'll have to ask the Ukrainians for that.
It was abruptly stopped after a couple of House Democrats who were part of the Obama administration worked with Ukraine and just kind of stopped the investigation.
So
but you also exactly. But
I'm not going to get into a yelling. I hear you always over yelling your guests because
you're talking to JD. You're not even talking to me. You're talking to a Republican.
You're not talking to Brian. You're talking to someone that is probably on your side.
Okay, well, that's somebody that's on your side, so you might want to be nice to him because he's a Republican and he disagrees with me, and he wasn't yelling with you, Terry, but go ahead.
Oh, well, I apologize. I mean, to either one of you, but I just don't like to over.
I'm giving you ample time to state your case, Terry.
There's really not a case to say, except for I do absolutely believe that Biden does matter. I'm not saying that Trump is right. I have read the transcripts. And I have watched all morning. I've read both things that's come out and watched all morning on C-SPAN.
Okay.
I'm not sure it's not partisan.
Okay, so Terry,
Sure.
can I respond to what you just said? Let's just say you're right,
Sure.
hypothetically, right? Let's just say that Biden, is guilty, even though I haven't seen any evidence to support that, and there has been an investigation. But hypothetically, just for argument's sake, let's just say you're right. I'm sure you would agree with me, Terry, that still doesn't make it right, this phone call. It still doesn't excuse Donald Trump's behavior. Can we all agree on that?
No, I can't. Because I listened to the transcripts and I watched the interview with the Ukrainian president yesterday. I absolutely do not see where he asked for money.
Okay, so I'll give you, since you seem to be a factual person, I'll give you some facts. A couple days before the phone call, he withheld the money. Then in the
I agree.
Okay, hold on, let me finish.
And I understand the reason he withheld the money had to do, and he also said this in the phone call.
So he withholds the money a couple days before. He asks for a favor, and it just so happens that all of a sudden he wants an investigation reopened into the corruption of the man who is going to be running against Donald Trump in all likelihood head-to-head in 2020, and you see absolutely nothing wrong with that at all.
No, I don't.
All right, I appreciate the call, Terry. I could not disagree with you more that you call up and you want to talk about the Bidens and you want an investigation reopened, but when it comes to the President of the United States asking for a favor from the president of the Ukraine of an investigation into Donald Trump's political opponent, you see absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. I could not disagree with you more. And I just don't understand it. 257-5396. Let's go to Pat. Pat, you're next on the Vegas Take. What's up?
Hey, what's up, Pat?
It's Pat Casal calling in. I just got off the plane. I watched 2 hours of testimony, read all the transcripts, listened to the conversation yesterday. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen, Brian. Joe Biden will resign for running for president before the next debate because this is going to blow up in his face.
What are you talking about?
There was nothing in the transcript. Please. There's nothing in the transcript regarding money. Nothing. Now, you may be right about it.
Doesn't have to be. There doesn't have to be.
In that conversation, it didn't happen. And here's what I will tell you.
There doesn't have to be, Pat. Actions speak louder than words.
It's a perception thing.
It's not perception. It was 2 days before the phone call, and then the money was released 2 days after the phone call.
The conversation on the radio, that was the transcript. The conversation is more perception. He gave the guy a congratulatory call. He basically spoke to him specifically about the corruption that goes on over there, blah, 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 blah. And this thing about Biden's son has been going on for months.
So what? Okay, so fine. So let's just say you're right about the Bidens.
Looking at this from a political
let's
game,
just say,
Brian.
Pat.
He was looking at it from a corruption perspective.
Pat, and I only got about 45 seconds, Pat, but let's just say you're absolutely right. I've made this argument before. I'll make it again. Let's just say the Bidens are guilty. And by the way, I haven't seen any proof to show that. But let's just say you're right. It doesn't excuse the president of the United States talking to the president of the Ukraine and asking for a favor and dirt on a political opponent. Pat, I got it.
He just asked for a favor. He didn't ask for dirt.
Biden himself testified.
What makes you say it was dirt?
That he held back $1 billion to get rid of a DA or whatever, a prosecutor.
Pat, I'm up against a hard break, my friend. I will have to address this on the other side. I always appreciated a good debate with you, my friend, and I appreciate you calling in. Thank you. We are going to.
Thanks for the call, Pat.
We are going to talk a little bit more about this, a lot more about this on the other side. We're going to take all your calls. We have Anthony, Mark, Mike, Lewis, John. We have one phone line open at 257-5396. We will continue this conversation. We will get to all your calls on the other side of the break. You're listening to The Vegas Take.